Hello, everyone. It's William here. How are y'all doing? Thank you for joining us. I hope you're having a great Friday. It was a rainy day. I was going to say it's a really beautiful day, but it was beautiful in its raininess today. Um, I was at the store today and I had some people come in, which was very nice. Thank you for coming in if you're watching. We really do appreciate it. So that gave me somebody to talk to throughout the day. But I also did a lot of my packing. I take packing up. I told you, we've always said that if we don't say that I'm doing packing and shipping on a day, then just know it already happens, because I even take it to the store with me on weekends. So there's really never a day that I'm not packing and shipping something. But So anyway, I did that. Got to talk to some people today, which was nice. I did a little reel and shared it on multiple different platforms. I just realized I haven't shared it to YouTube yet, but it's on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok now. I got to do YouTube and Blue Sky a little bit later. So that is nice. I've got a little bit to do yet. Kimberly is here. Hello, Kimberly. And took some time, but figured out how to switch to my personal account. Nice. Welcome, Kimberly, in both ways. Susie, our neighbor, is here. Hello, Susie. I've got another little thing to drop off to you, Susie. Hopefully I'll do that soon. I hope it's okay to leave things on your porch like we do from time to time. Yeah, I'll have to drop something off again for you. I have little things. Norma is here. Hello, Norma. Thank you so much for joining us. Norma says, hi, Kimberly. Nice to see you as yourself, right? Yeah, so if you're out there, please say hi. Let us know. It really helps. Because on this end of things, if nobody says hi and nobody does anything, we feel like we're talking to ourselves. And maybe some people are great at that. Some people are maybe great at that. But I am not. I get very self-conscious if I just ramble on and nobody says anything, because then I don't know. Do people like what I'm saying? Do they not? They're not reacting. You know, if you've ever talked to someone in person and they're just kind of, and they don't say anything, they don't emote, they don't nod even. Have you ever had that kind of conversation? I have. And it's very, very, it makes me self-conscious, because I'm like, are they really not interested, or are they just not, they're just listening? Like, what is happening? That's what it's kind of like talking to a camera. Because, you know, when people are talking, I feel like I'm talking to people and they're registering what I'm saying. When nobody says anything, I feel like I'm just talking to a machine, which is a little weird. So Chris is here, says hello, but can't stay long. Well, thank you for joining us for as long as you can, Chris. We do appreciate it. And it really does help, believe me, when people say hi. So how was everyone's day? I was in Johnstown, like I said. It was a rainy day in Johnstown, very, very rainy. Pretty warm today. It was a nice temperature for the most part, but just rainy. It poured a little bit, and then it kind of drizzled for most of the day, which is kind of nice. You kind of want, you know, in the spring, you want that kind of drizzle to happen, because it keeps the groundwater higher, right? If you get those heavy rains, which we often do in the spring, it just runs off. But you get these nice all day kind of drizzle rains, it soaks in, it heightens the water tables, make sure everything gets nice and damp. We've had some, it's wild. We've had people around us, doing some burning outside, and because I could smell fire at the cottage the other day, and that same day there had been a weather warning about not to burn because it is so dry, and with wind gusts, they were concerned. So yeah, it's nice when it rains a little bit. But hello, Bobby. Bobby is here from Bobby's Bobbles. Thank you for joining us. Andrew is not feeling very well today, so I don't know. I'm hoping he's going to come up and help me in a little bit. But he is fighting a headache and a possible migraine right now. So I kind of I had to stop at the gas station on the way home, and then I had to stop and get some groceries on the way home. So I'm a little bit later, which is why we got a little bit of a late start today. Um, and I'm hoping he's going to be able to come up and at least hand me some things, maybe, maybe. Um, because we've got lots of things in this office. We're going to do a miscellaneous randomness night, just because that's what we're able to do tonight, because I didn't have a chance to stop along the way and gather specific things like I sometimes do. Even when we do random stuff, a lot of times it's fairly, I pulled some random stuff. I picked them. Tonight, we're going to do some random, I think. So it's going to be interesting. But I have a lot of things here to pull from. We have some Harry Wood stuff. Some of you, a lot of you grabbed that yesterday, but we have some stuff from previous times that is still available. So we have some of that around here. We have some gemstones around here. I'm just looking around. We have some checked glass around here. We have some mixed lots. We have some individual gemstones sold by the stone kind of lots around here. So there's a lot in here. We're gonna have a good night looking at some beautiful things, but it's just going to depend on how that works out. I'm hoping it's not turning into a migraine for him. He says it's veering that way, he felt like. So we'll see, but we'll work it out together. Whatever happens tonight, we'll all work it out together. We're still going to have some great things for y'all no matter what happens. If I have to bring all the bags over here and go through them as we go, that's what we'll do. It's not a big deal. Hello, Charlie. Charlie has joined us over on Instagram. Thank you so much. Bobby says, bummer. Norma says, sorry, Andrew isn't feeling well. Susan is here. Hello, Susan. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Norma says, hey, Susan, happy birthday. Yeah, we hope you're having a great day. Yeah. That's exciting. That's exciting. Hopefully your day is going really well. That's what we want for our birthdays, right? For the days to go really, really well. Charlie says, hello, and oh no, migraines are awful. They are. They are awful. He and I both suffer from them. He gets them more often because his are generally kind of weather related. And so when it turns and starts raining like this, oftentimes he feels the pressure in his head. So we've given him some coffee with caffeine. We've given him some ibuprofen. He was resting until I got home a little bit. He was up a lot of the night working, which also doesn't help. I'm sure he didn't get a lot of rest last night. I actually slept in the guest room where we've been sleeping here and there because I wanted, I love to sleep with our cats, but sometimes I need like real sleep. Because when you sleep with cats, if you know, cats or dogs, any animal, you don't really always sleep because they're around you. If you need to turn, it's extra effort to turn. It's not that easy turn you do whenever you're just by yourself. So I slept in the other room, and I know Andrew came in at one point. He's been sleeping in there anyway because allergies have been getting to him lately, and he has a hard time sleeping in our other bed because of the mattress. So he but so I heard him come in at one point, but that was it. So I know he didn't get a lot of sleep. I heard him leave at one point too, pretty early. So I know he was up a lot of the night. So he didn't get a lot of rest. So that, in with the weather that's coming through, he's not feeling great. Charlie says, I get mine from muscle pain and not sleeping, drinking enough. Drinking is probably another thing Andrew does not do enough of. He drinks some water, but I think we all underestimate a lot of times how much water we actually need in our systems. So he drinks a lot of coffee, which has water in it, but it's also one of those, a diuretic. So it makes the water pass faster. So yeah, and I know he's been having neck pains too. So it's everything. It's everything for him. It's it's like lack of sleep, probably not enough water, not enough caffeine because he wasn't up and around very much during the day today when he normally drinks a lot of coffee, muscle pain, not sleeping enough. It's a lot. It's a lot. Let's see here. What's everyone saying? Kimberly says, happy birthday, Susan. And this is, oh, I understand that pain. Feel better soon, Andrew. And let's see here. Susan says, thank you. Thus far, my birthday has been good. I'll post some pics a little later. Nice. Nice. Anna is with us. Hello, Anna. Says, happy birthday, Susan. Cheryl says, hi there. Trying to avoid folding laundry, so here I am. Well, welcome, Cheryl. Glad we can help you procrastinate on the laundry. We're at least good for that, for sure. Laundry. Don't even ask. Don't even ask. Mary Jane is here. Hello, Mary Jane. Thank you for joining us. Kimberly says, I totally get it about weather migraines. Mine are weather and sinus triggered, and I have to take Ubrelvy when the ibuprofen doesn't work. Yeah, he has to take. He takes the ibuprofen. There are certain things he can't take because he's developed an allergic reaction to them, it seems like. So he's never gone to see about anything more than that. He doesn't get these too often. He gets headaches, but full-blown migraines don't usually happen too often. But he's worried this is turning into one. So yeah. Let's see. Bobby says, when I first got married, my hubby said it was too crowded in bed. He said I had to choose him or the cat. I said, let's go by seniority. Actually, 7 years. You got 3 weeks. Yeah. We usually sleep with the cats in the bed, and usually at any point in time, there's anywhere between, it could be 1 up to 4 cats usually. Usually we don't get all 5 in the bed at once, but 1 to 4 cats with both of us in the bed. We do have a king bed. We had to, and sometimes it looks kind of funny in the bedroom because the bed really does take up almost the entire room. But we couldn't do it on anything smaller. And then I think our mattress is really getting worn out is what it's coming down to. And it does cause some pain. So we tried to flip the mattress we tried to flip ourselves. We've got to flip the mattress really, is what we need to do. But it's heavy and it's big and it takes both of us and it takes a lot because the room's so small. And it's just one of those things we put off. But we really should do that too. But really, we have a guest room that nobody ever uses. And so, we use it once in a while, but most of the time it sits empty. And we're like, we've got beds in there. They're comfortable. Let's just use that when we need to. So he often now goes in there because he won't get woken up by the cats. He gets so little sleep as it is. That it's hard for him to be woken up by the cats at any point in time because they could come running across the bed at any point. Last night I chose to sleep in there too. I told the cats, I said, I'm sorry, you got to sleep without me, but you can have the whole bed tonight. So I think they mostly, I saw Gilbert was in there on the bed by himself, but I think most of them hung out with Andrew downstairs while he was awake. Because I didn't hear anybody trying to claw at the door to get in. So they were all trying to hang out with him, I think. Mary Jane says, prayers for Andrew. Thank you so much. Susan says, my hubs gets migraines. He gets them from stress and weather changes. Yes, that could be both things. I get them from stress for sure. I definitely get stress migraines. Usually my migraines happen if I've already gotten a knot in my neck. They're always generally muscle related, and it's stress that causes the muscles to tense. But definitely they happen if I know I have not drank enough water. That happens a lot. Not as often anymore because I try really hard to drink enough water lately. Dale is here listening from work. Thank you so much. Cheryl says, I hope he feels better soon. It's been rough with this weather. It's 76 degrees Fahrenheit here. March is crazy. We're not in the 70s yet. We hit 61 today as a high. I think on Monday it's supposed to be up to 70, is what they're saying. Well, not this forecast. This one's always different than AccuWeather. No, Saturday, tomorrow, 71 tomorrow. That's not what it was saying before. So, yeah. And then we're supposed to be in the 60s and 50s, 60s one day in the 40s. It's up and down. It's like 48 one day, 71 another day as the high. Those are the highs. So the lows are like 30 and then 56. That's quite a swing. That's quite a swing. And it's mainly for Andrew, the rain. The rain, when the barometric pressure comes through, humidity and rain muck up his sinuses real good, and then he's not able to function really, because it just gets him, totally gets him. Susan says, we have a queen size bed, and with the 2 boys and 2 humans, it can get a bit crowded. Yeah. When we had just the 2 and 2 of us, it definitely could get crowded because we had a queen for a while. And when we got our next bed, once that mattress wore out completely out and we got a new bed, we said, let's just get a king. Everything's more expensive with a king, but with the cats and everything. And like I said, it was interesting getting it up the stairway because the stairway was a little small to try and get the king up there because it's an actual mattress. It's not one of those foldable, comes in a box kind of things. So my dad helped us and kind of rammed it up the staircase, and then it pretty much takes up a very good chunk of the room. We have a little bit on each edge to walk into the bed on the sides, and then there's a good bit. There's enough for a dresser in front of it, but that's about it. Our bedroom is small, so but we figured that was more necessary than room in the bedroom, was to have a bigger size bed that we'd all be comfortable. So we definitely did that, and thankfully we had a room big enough that a king did actually fit. We were looking at a California king because they're a little bit longer, and we were like, I don't even. If we did that, I don't know that we'd have our dresser that would even fit in there. So we settled with a regular king, which is very, it sounds luxurious to me because I grew up with very generally small beds. But I did have a waterbed at one point growing up. My parents got a waterbed and they loved it. So they saved up to get me and my brother one because it was supposed to be better for your posture and your back and all that. And I had been diagnosed. I have slight scoliosis. So they were trying to do things that would be better for us. And so growing up at one point, I did have a waterbed, which was kind of nice. I kind of would like to maybe try one again. I don't know why they went out of style, because they became very, some of them had like foam in them. Like my mom's had foam in it. So it wasn't like the whoosh. Mine was more of that kind. It had some of the dampeners in it, but they became like foam, and they had little heaters so you could turn on the heater and it would heat up the water and you'd have a nice warm bed to get into at night. I don't know why those ever went out of style. I know they are of a certain time period, right? Like 80s, 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And they harken back to that, but why waterbeds went out of style? I don't know. Other than the fact maybe like if they broke, there were problems, right? You'd flood the whole thing. But really, they were pretty comfortable from what I remember. And I never remember, I mean, I was young, so I don't remember having aches and pains from them. But my parents didn't seem to have issues with theirs. They loved theirs. So, and when we moved from that house, like when I moved from it, I went to college. So I didn't take my waterbed with me. So it stayed there. And then my mom moved out of the house and she didn't take hers with her either. I think she moved into a place that was too small for it at the time. So I don't know what happened to the waterbeds. I don't know why we ever got rid of them, but I don't know. If you did you all have waterbeds? Did you ever have that? Yeah. So growing up, it was a small waterbed, but we had them and it was nice. I remember it being nice, and it was so nice to be able to turn on that heater and get that bed warm if you needed to, or in the in the summer, you get in and it was a little bit chilled, like it wasn't too warm, so it was nice to lay in the summer because the water would cool down. Mary Jane had one. Nice, nice. I liked the waterbed. And they always came with those, like my waterbed had, it was a double height, so I had drawers. I had 6 drawers on each side of my waterbed to put clothes in. That was, my room was so small. I mean, my room was pretty big because it was actually, my parents added on a room to the house when they bought the house, because my house growing up was a cottage, a literal cabin cottage that was only meant for like spring, late spring, summer, maybe early fall. Like I've talked about this. It had one heater in it, and it ran off of propane. That you know would never ever have heated that whole house. The bedrooms didn't have heaters in them, so like the house was not outfitted with electric heaters or anything like that. It was just one heater in the house that was meant to heat the area if it got chilly. Like it was not meant to live in. But my parents bought it because the price was good and it was near a lake, um, and they could afford it. And they thought that raising children by the lake would be fun and there'd be a lot for us to do. And they didn't have a lot of money, but they felt like we'd at least be kind of in nature, which would be nice. And so that's where we grew up. And they added on a room to that house. Thank goodness they did, which was our laundry room. And we had a chest freezer in there. And some of our, like the pantry was kind of in there for food. The chest freezer was in there, in the laundry room. And we just called it for the longest time. It was the room. It's out in the room. The weird things you come up with when you're, when you think back on things. But we called it the room. And the room oftentimes was a collection area for things. When we were young, any of our toys, that's where the toys would go, because our house was not big enough. Our living room, dining room was all kind of one space. There wasn't a big place. Our bedroom was fairly small. We had bunk beds. Growing up, my brother, we shared a bedroom for a while, and we had bunk beds because 2 beds would have been really hard to fit in there otherwise. So we had bunk beds, and then we had some dressers and a desk for doing schoolwork. And the closet was about this big. And so that closet also, I think, had the switch to like a sump pump underneath the house, which we really never used. But I know it was there, and my parents always warned us not to turn it on, so they didn't like us in that closet very much. So our toys, anything we had that we played with, we had a big cardboard, a giant, I remember I could fit in it as a kid. It was a giant cardboard box, and our toys went out in the room, and that's where we'd play with them out there, and we could bring them into the rest of the house, but we didn't have a lot of room for storage, so everything got stored out there. And over the years, it just become a place where things got put. And at one point, I was getting older, and my parents thought it would be good for my brother and I to have separate rooms. So I went out into that room, which, thinking back on it, I was very happy to do that because it was new and exciting, and it was, kind of, when you're young and you like don't go into a room in your house very often, or you have a chance to do something different in a room, like that was I was excited about that. And I think my brother was happy to stay in the other room. And thinking back on it, I kind of wish I would have gone the other. I would have let him take the new room, because I was always one that slept in late. And my mom would come out to do laundry. She had to do laundry. So I always had to wake up whenever she was ready to do laundry. And my brother was already up most of the time. He was an earlier riser than me. And so it would have made much more sense for us to have switched that. But anyway, that's the way it was. So that was just kind of one of those things that, we added on that room to the house. And I don't know where I was going, but the waterbed was out there, and it was nice. But I did have a back door, and I was not a bad kid. But I actually had my room had the back door to the house, so I could have snuck in and out at any point if I really wanted to. But I wasn't that kind of teenager, so I wasn't in the popular kids to do that anyway. So we didn't sneak around, but I could have. I could have. It was nice though. I could sit out because the back door faced kind of the lake, and I could go out on the steps on the back door and just kind of sit at night if I wanted to, and I did that quite often. I've always liked to kind of sit out at night and um, smell the air and enjoy the frogs and the creatures that would make noise out there. Cheryl says, my high school friend had one waterbed. Nice. Nora says, we had a waterbed for a couple years when I was first married, but had to give it up when we moved to a place where the landlord didn't allow it. That's another thing too, is I think that happened a lot. Mary Jane says, I couldn't sleep on it. Made me feel like I was on a boat. Yeah, I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that very much at all. And like I said, ours had a little bit of the, what do they call them, baffles or something in them, so that it wasn't like, I think my aunt had one, if I remember correctly. She was the first one I knew that had them, and hers was a super like early version, and it was just the mattress with water in it, and you would get on that and you'd like, it was really, it really made you feel like you were going. And if somebody, pushed on it on the other end, they'd pop you off the side if they got in bed too quickly. Or of course, my cousins and I, we would do that. We would lay on one side and we'd all push down on the other and pop the other person off the end of the bed. But yeah, ours were a little bit later in the progress of waterbeds, so they didn't kind of rock as much. Kimberly's says, be right back, got to step away and get comfy clothes on. Yeah, I should have put comfort pants on before I started, but I didn't have a lot of time. So I'm still in my, as Andrew would say, my hard pants. Mary Jane says, I think that's the one I had. Yeah. So says, I can't imagine cats with claws on a waterbed. I know, like we had cats growing up. But many of them may have been declawed. I'm trying to think about it now. And before we had gotten them, they probably were declawed at that point. A lot of places used to do that to kind of, it wasn't as well known back then that it was actually like removing a knuckle. So a lot of places did that more often, I think, back then, even just to adopt them, and people didn't realize, like I didn't know that as a kid. And I know a lot of people looked for their cats to be declawed. I would never have done that had I known what the process was. And we don't do that now. But we had dogs. We definitely had dogs that would come up on the bed, smaller dogs. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the cats just never bothered it or were clawless. I don't know. But that would be a scary thing. I don't think right now, because our cats seem to love to tear up the bed. So I don't know that would be a good thing. And if it came down to sleeping without the cats or having a waterbed, I guess I would choose the cats, of course. Nora says, we had 2 cats, but I think the waterbed had a thick mattress pad. I think that's the other thing too, is they did have some protection to them. They had thicker mattress pads. They had, like, we always, you had your covers on anyway. And I don't know. But I think you're right, Norma. I think they did have some kind of thicker mattress pad too. That also helped level out the waviness of everything, the wavy gravy. Yeah, so what's everybody doing? How's your Friday? How's your Friday going? I'm just here reminiscing about my waterbed, thinking about how nice it was. But my Friday's going pretty well. I did some emailing today. I sent out an email. The book club is tomorrow. So how many of y'all are ready for the book club? I was going to try and listen to the book today. Susan's stepping away to get cake. Get that cake, Susan. Get that cake. You said cake and I totally lost track. Oh, book club. All it took was cake. Um, book club is tomorrow. So I was going to listen to the book today at the store, and I got involved in things, and I had the radio on in the store. I just turned on the radio, and I got involved in stuff, and before I knew it, like the day was over. The day was over. Um, so I didn't really get to listen to it, and I'm not going to have enough time during the day tomorrow to listen to the whole book. So we'll see. I might listen to at least part of it tomorrow. You'd think. I've the whole time we've had a book club, I've only read a few of the books. It's not really, it's something that Andrew loves to do. I like the book club too. I like seeing what people make because I think it's very interesting. But I do have a hard time reading under a deadline like that. Um, I think it just comes from it throws back to high school and college. I was a language major. I did a lot of reading, a lot of deadline reading, and it just kind of it makes me not want to read. Um, I can read, it seems like no problem if I have a good book and I'm just doing it to fall asleep or for enjoyment. But you start to put any kind of work on it, and it makes me feel like I don't want to do it. So I'm going to see if I can at least listen to some of it throughout the day tomorrow while I'm at work. And I know it's about 11 and a half hours or something, I think y'all said. So if I start it when I first get there, and depending on if there are people that come in or not, I know I have some people coming in tomorrow, but I should at least get a good 5 hours of it done probably. So hopefully I'll have enough of a listen to it that I'll like half the book read, and I'll maybe be able to create something from it. We'll see. But I will also be a little bit late to book club. Andrew will have to start book club because it starts at 6 and I leave the store at 6 tomorrow. So I will have an extra half hour or so on the road before I get home. So I'll be joining in a little bit later. Cheryl says, I only got through chapter 1, but avoid Zooms like the plague. So I'll be there in spirit, LOL. Why do you avoid them like the plague, Cheryl? Zooms are fun. They're fun when they're not work. They're fun when they're not work. I never really had to do many of them for work. But I know we've had some meetings for the store and things like that, and it's not always fun that way. But yeah. Mary Jane says, be right back. My grandkids are visiting. Y'all are busy tonight. Y'all are busy. Got birthdays, got kids visiting. It's nice. It's people getting cake, right? Getting comfy clothes on. That's good. It's Friday, y'all. Finally, I don't know what that means. It doesn't mean anything to us really, but I know how much it means to a lot of other people out there. And I'm still in that. You grow up with school, you grow up with work, and Fridays mean something, and they still do, whether it's an actual thing or not, because we work 7 days a week, and all it means for me for Friday is that that's the day that I start going to the store for the weekend. That's the change for me. But we don't do the lives on Friday or on Saturday and Sunday, so that is kind of a little bit of a different thing. But usually we do a D-stash or something like that too, is what we've been getting into lately. So it's still something, but there is a little bit of a difference, and there is a little semi less pressure. Lives. I love the lives because we get to hang out with you all, but sometimes they are a little bit of pressure because it's still like I feel like it's up to us to be the entertainment and to I don't know. And in some cases, yes, but y'all wouldn't tune in if you didn't like to hang out, right? So I try not to have too much pressure on myself and Andrew on himself when we do these, because mostly we consider it just hanging out with y'all. And we've always said that if we didn't have to do the live sales to keep things going, we would still do the lives. The lives are fun, but that's just the way it goes. That's the way it goes. But yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of what's going on around here. Like I said, tonight is going to be a very random show. It looks like Andrew is not feeling great enough to join us because he hasn't yet. So I'm going to try to go across the room here and find some things myself. I'm going to bring some of the bags and things over and make some room here without knocking things over. And we're going to, hello, Suzanne. And we're going to pull some stuff, some very random stuff, because I'm going to pull from bags and pull from what we've got hanging out here in the office. And we're going to see what we've got. All right. So give me a few moments. And I don't know if I have a banner. Let me put up a banner right now. Let's create a new banner. Be right back. And we're going to add that banner. Be right back. And I will be right back in just a few moments. So take your time, get a drink, use the restroom, and I'm going to go pull some stuff around across the room and see what we've got for y'all tonight. All right, one moment. All right, everyone. Hello again. Suzanne says, Cinnamon says hello to Barnaby. I'll let him know. All right. I've got a bunch of stuff here. I don't know what we're going to get into, but we're going to show you different things. So I hope I got enough paper here. We're gonna do this. I have to figure out what numbers we're going to use, but let me flip the camera here real quick and we'll get started. There's some fun stuff here that I forgot about, so I think we're going to have a good time tonight. Let's see if I keep feeling like they change these settings all the time. Here's this. Let's color correct it. There we go. If you always wonder why this is here, if you look at this, I don't know if it'll do it with the light on. It's a little bit better with the light on, but it corrects the color, the white balance, and it makes it a lot more realistic in color when we show things. So that's why this piece of driftwood is always, always with us, it seems. All right, let me figure out what letters we're going to do tonight. We've ever done this. Let's do W-Y. Y. W-Y, lots. And like I said, I've got a lot of random stuff, but I'm going to start with this cute little piece by Harry Wood. We did some Harry stuff yesterday, and if you missed that show, I hope you'll check it out. Oh, there's Andrew. He says, it just rained and my headache is finally easing up. So maybe he'll join us in a little bit. We'll see. But I'm glad it's easing up. All right. There's this cute, little, this is not a bead. It's a tiny little ceramic piece by Harry, and it sits like that. Let me see, where's my ruler? There it is, buried as usual. Let me move this real quick. Get this up here. So this is like 1 inch by about an inch. It's just a tiny little thing. A little bead friend, says Grace, right? Hello, Grace, by the way. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, it's just a little bead friend to sit at your desk. $8, WY1, if anybody's interested. This is a handmade piece by Harry, WY1. Handmade ceramic. Ooh, bags. That's something I don't. Oh, wait, this had a bag. It was just a giant bag. Let me put it in a smaller bag. It doesn't need to be in that big bag. I was going to say, most of these things should have bags. Kimberly got connected to the TV. Nice. Watching on the big screen. All right. So, and then I started Redden Up. If you are from Pennsylvania, you might know Redden Up. I started Redden Up the room here and moved things. So now where I normally put things is not where I can normally put things. So let me move this around here real quick. Gotta red up once in a while, right? You all know that? We've talked about it, so if you watch us, you probably know. But if you don't, red up is an old, I believe, old German verb, redden, and it means to clean up or to tidy up. But it's not very widespread. It's not a very widespread thing. Let's see. Wow, look at this. Let me see if I can get this. Are these going to fall off the end? Sometimes these aren't knotted. I gotta check to see. Are you going to fall off? No. Okay. All right, so this is going to be WY2 And let's do a really good price on these. Let's do $8. And there are only 3 of these left. WY2. These are beautiful green aventurine. Green aventurine, kind of twisted tubes, you know, twisted rectangles. Beautiful green aventurine. These are vintage strands. Let's see, these are approximately 16-inch strands, and these are about 6.5 millimeters by, about 13, give or take. I do have 3 of them available. Let me show you, because, you know, we like to show them all to you so you know. They will vary in size and color, and of course a little bit here and there, but they are beautiful green aventurine stones. Natural vintage stock. Only $8 a strand. We've sold 1 of these so far. Thank you so much. There are 2 of them still available at only $8 each. That's a steal. Get them while the getting's good. That's another thing is Fridays. I often, you know, we give you good prices all the time, but I feel like especially Fridays, we're just like ready to end the week, and you get really good prices on Fridays. Let's see what else is in my thing of goodies here. I forget what that stone is, so we're going to move on. Sometimes I forget what the stones are. How about some lamp work? We got some nice lamp work here. Anna says those are beautiful stones. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Charlie says we picked up a 1950s dresser today and have been sanitizing and fixing it, currently polishing the brass drawer pulls. Any suggestions for keeping bugs out? I have bay leaves and cedar oil inside so far. Anybody else? Anybody got any recommendations for Charlie to keep bugs out? Why, hello.
Howdy.
Oh, you're feeling better.
I drank some more coffee, so
You drank some more coffee?
hopefully I don't puke.
No, don't do that. I've got myself surrounded by things here.
Isn't that normal?
I know, but even more than normal. What is this stone?
Something nice.
I know.
They call it blue calcite or
It's angel something or something.
angelite.
Angelite? Yeah, I had angel. I was like, I don't know if that's right. Let's see. Let's put a good price on this for y'all. WY3. Let's do this angelite. $10.
Wow.
$10 for the strand. Look at that. Or blue calcite, Andrew said also it's called. These are beautiful rounds. And this is a 16-inch strand, and these are just about 10 millimeters, 9.7 millimeters. WY3 Angelite. Kimberly says maybe we can help identify. See, I could have. And that one has just sold. Thank you so much. Sold.
That?
Huh?
Who said that?
Kimberly was ready to help identify.
Oh, she's good at that.
Yeah. Cheryl says, wowie, wow, wow. I know, it's a really good price, huh? Told you it's Friday. We're just throwing the good prices out there. Charlie said they're trying less chemically things since cats are nosy. Yeah, so if you got any suggestions to help Charlie, looking for things to keep bugs out of an old 1950s dresser. So far she has bay leaves and cedar oil inside, which seems like a pretty good thing.
Hopefully it works.
You'll have to let us know if it works.
We are considering mothballs for the basement because we got
oh, the moths are coming back.
I hate to do that because Barnaby,
that's his place.
Main thing.
Yeah.
But I also don't like my clothes to be tore up.
No. How about these? These are fun. This is some costume earrings. Are these S-word? I don't think.
Maybe.
Maybe.
They're very sparkly.
They are very. Maybe they are.
I have no recollection of that.
I know. At some point we ran them through the show, but I'm going to give you an even better price today than we did before. We had it on 16. Let's put them at 14. These are buttons.
Oh, buttons. I thought you said earrings.
Oh, did I say earrings? I meant they're buttons.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, they are. That's that color is. Oh, are there any S-word people out there?
Anybody? Andrew said they're definitely S-word now that he knows they're buttons.
Uh-huh.
Because they were in a costume jewelry bag, but I thought they were earrings. I probably did say earrings at first, but they are actually buttons.
Is that Aeronite?
Aeronite? So
Is that the color?
Kelly Green, says Bobby.
No.
They are a Kelly Green, but
they're like a pale bluey kind of green, but because of the backing they look darker.
Anna says they are beautiful. Dale says Aaron, thinking it probably Aeronite. So you get both of these for $14. Julie says, is that the price for both? Yes, Julie, we're doing good deals tonight.
That's basically free then.
Basically free.
Because those should be like, how much did you say?
Well, this is what we had them before.
Okay.
We had them at
handwriting.
Yep, we had them at 16 for the two. So I brought them down to 14 for the two. That was already a good price.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Anna says Aeronite. Yep.
See, I don't make everything
Kimberly
up.
says I agree, probably Aeronite.
See, I don't make everything up.
So that's the price for both of them, $14, and they have just sold. Thank you so much.
See, sometimes I wonder if I actually know what I'm talking about. And then I'm like, oh.
Another good reason for people to comment back, so we don't think we're just making stuff up all the time.
I'm like, am I in the Matrix? Where am I?
What's going on? This is a pretty pendant with a little hand-carved scarab beetle. Look how cute that is.
Oh, that's from one of the vintage finds I had.
Look at that hand-carved vintage. Susie said those remind me of clip-on earrings that my grandma had. Yeah, that's why I thought at first I probably said earrings, because that's what they reminded me of.
You can 100% live your best B. Arthur life.
Right?
You know, this one, the reason why I got that is because somebody had been asking for scarab
stuff.
Uh-huh.
We had 18 on this. I'm going to drop it down to 16 for y'all. And is this a silver?
I don't know. I can't tell from here.
At $18 before, probably not a sterling, but it's probably a pewter, huh?
And maybe, I don't know. I want to say that it may be a brass that's been silver plated. It could be silver. It kind of looks, and then people just looking at nothing right now.
I know.
But, yeah, so it's definitely a vintage piece.
Vintage piece. Hand-carved stone.
That was really popular. They did this thing called Egyptian Revival. And so it's kind of wild because they would just like put whatever on these little tablets and stuff and they didn't even know like what it meant. And so they would just like carve stuff in.
It's about an inch.
The scarabs. So do y'all want some history mythology style told in a slightly cracked out state?
Go ahead.
So in the old times in ancient Egypt, they had various kind of particular rules of how people could go to the Westlands, which were kind of the afterlife, basically like heaven. And so they had this creature called the Eater of the Dead, and it was like part crocodile. And this is actually a thing. They sometimes in the bodies, to get rid of them, they would throw them in the Nile, and the crocodiles would eat them. So, not untrue. And so there's a goddess named Maat, Maat, and depending on the depiction, she's either depicted as a bird girl, so human head and bird body, or as a feather, or as a woman with a feather in her little crown. And she would weigh out your heart. So she's kind of like justice. So, and actually it was Anubis who would weigh your heart, and she would sit on the scales. And so, basically what would happen is they would weigh your heart against a feather, and if your heart weighed more than a feather, then they'd throw you to the Eater of the Dead. And so one of the ways that they kind of hedged their bets was that they would make these inscriptions, and they would put them on the back of a carved stone, which would be a scarab, and they would bury or put, because sometimes they had these canopic jars, and they would put like the different organs, but that's for fancy people mostly. It's not for like regular people most of the time. But they would put the scarab next to the heart, and then they would have like instructions. It was basically instructions for the scarab to eat the heart if it's going to be like a traitor face. And so they would say, hey, it was one of the ways they could kind of get around that. So anyways, scarabs are like a really big symbol, and like they call them dung beetles, and so they would roll the poop, and they make this perfect ball, and they associated that perfect little sphere with the sun. So there was kind of that too. So they were like these little divine messenger type things.
Nice.
So there you go.
Charlie says, love history, and says, yay, crack history. Who doesn't love some crack history?
Now, I don't know if this is true. I could just made that up. No.
You sounded so sure of yourself, too.
I know. At one point, I thought I was going to become an Egyptologist.
Yeah.
But that was a long time ago. I worked with a person named Dr. Trudy Kawami, and I was going to go to Egypt to go and dig around, I guess. I don't know what actually you do when you're an Egyptologist. And she's like, you probably should. She's like, I don't want to, like, assume anything, but she's like, but I have a feeling that you enjoy the company of other men, and that is, you can get your head chopped off. Basically, that's how.
Thanks.
So she's like, maybe think about another way.
Another way to do things, to make a living. So these are little charms or pendants. They're this green glass, which is really pretty.
They used to be mine.
And they were $8, and now they are $6 for the pair.
They're supposed to look like moldavite.
Yeah, they do look like moldavite. Or reptile skin.
They're from, moldavite.
Moldavite.
That's actually, they call them sugar crystals. And they're from Germany. And I bought that from one of my friends. Her name LaFay, and she is no longer selling stuff because she has the dementia now.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to go over there, and I said, "What do you have for me today, LaFay?" And she'd pull up. She's like, "Well," she's like, "You like this stuff?" And her display at her booth was like so ratty tatty. It was all just like random cardboard boxes.
It's about 31 by 21 millimeters.
And one time I was like, if you put like a tablecloth down, it'd do wonders for you.
Do wonders for you. And these have sold. Thank you so much.
I miss her.
Yeah, she was nice. I didn't get to know her too well because I was kind of coming in at the late stages of all that. But
she got so mad at me once because we went to Virginia Beach and I didn't tell her.
Oh yeah.
And she said, "I hear you were in Virginia Beach." And I was like, "How'd you know that?" And she was like, "I have my way." She goes, "I didn't appreciate you not visiting me." And so there's that.
WY7. Let's make this $14. This is by Harry. This is a crucifix by Harry in ceramic. Harry Wood, $14. Nice pendant. And it is approximately, we'll do this in inches, about 2.5 inches
I know some of y'all
by 1 inch and 3/4.
Religious stuff.
Yeah, and this to have a handmade one by Harry is kind of special.
I kind of want to do like a thing where like we have like a tree and then we like hang stuff from the tree.
What tree? Where a tree?
Probably at the cottage.
At the cottage?
Trees in the back.
Oh, like a real outside tree, not like an indoor tree.
You could. I used to have like I didn't have a lot of money when I was coming up. And so one of the things I could sometimes afford is earrings from my fellow vendor friends. And my ears aren't pierced yet. And so
Still yet.
I know. After Peter's bad last year, I was all hot to trot to get my ears pierced, and then for some reason it never happened.
Never did it.
But because I was starting to research like maybe if I could do it myself. Because I have a very high pain threshold. So I have no problem like sticking stuff in my flesh. And it kind of creeps William out, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, he does it where I don't see it very often.
Yeah. So, anyways, so I was like, oh, I could just do this myself. And then I started reading about some people getting like these keloids and stuff. And I was like, I don't need any extra.
No. This is another pendant by Harry. Beautiful for spring. It's got the flowers. I believe this was a raku pendant. It's got that beautiful flashes of blue and purple with the dark golden yellow color.
That's real pretty.
Isn't it real pretty? I think that would go.
That rainbow finish on it.
Yep. I think that would go really well with a lot of people's stuff for spring, heading into summer even.
I wish my skin looked like that. Maybe not so crusty, but
that glowy.
But if it's like iridescent, I would be interested in that story.
Julie says, I pierced my own ears.
How did that work out for you?
So WY8. Oh, and this one is approximately 1 3/8 inches by about 1.5 inches. Super nice and thin, super nice and light.
I don't think I have a needle that's sharp enough. That's the thing. And I don't want to be like digging around with a dull needle.
No, don't dig around with a dull needle.
I mean, I could do it. We could probably film it. You want to film it?
You can. I'm sure you can set up
some kind of like.
We've got the.
Is that against the Facebook rule?
Maybe, I don't know. Self-piercing. I don't know if they frown upon that. Oh, here's one of these. Look at this. Well, that just goes to show you.
What?
Because there's that, and there's just one of them in there.
There you go.
So what were the other ones?
Those are 6 apiece. They're originally 8 apiece.
They are 7 apiece now.
And 14?
Yeah, I did 14.
Never mind.
So got another one of these. WY9. Found another one of those. $7. It was $8.
Did you tell them how we started the second season of Survival of the Thickest?
I did not. I actually forgot we'd started that.
I like it. But you know what? I also realized I was kind of feeling like confident about my Italian learning because I'm coming up to day 100, and I watched them talking, and I instantly reversed that decision.
Instantly reversed.
Because I didn't understand, but like 3 words that they said.
So we sold these. This was WY, what was it, 6, I think, or 4 or something like that. What was it? WY, yeah, 4. We had them for 2 for 14. So I'm doing one of these for 7. Kimberly says, "Is that the Indian pink? Isn't this?"
Yeah, that's it. It's called Pad Bradshaw.
I was gonna say Pad Bradshaw. Yeah, Pad Bradshaw.
Good eye.
Good eye. Kimberly knows. Pad Bradshaw, WY9, 1 button available.
That used to be one of my favorites.
It is a beautiful color.
You know, because it's not red, it's not pink, it's not orange. It's kind of like all of the above. It's not coral, because sometimes people don't like coral.
Yeah.
But it's like all of it. Did you know sapphires actually come in that color? I've never actually had one.
Can't afford one.
Yeah, that's a rare.
So, and I don't think I gave you the size on these before. These are about 24 millimeters.
Somebody was looking for something blingy.
Yep. So there's one of those available, WY9. That's a 9. Let me make that more clear. WY9. Pad Bradshaw. S-word crystal button with a gold finish. One of them available, $7. Now where'd my, there it is. It's another big bag. Tiny thing in a big bag.
Do you want a smaller bag?
I got some. Okay, I got for now. Thank you.
Ragazzi. When we go to Italy, I'm gonna sound ridiculous.
He's like, just so you know. He's like, get ready for it.
Yeah.
He's like, it's all gonna come out.
And it's gonna sound like such hot trash Duolingo. Did you know Duolingo has a restaurant?
You shared that. I did not know that until I saw you sharing that.
And I don't really drink anymore, but some of the bougie cocktails, I was like, I would try that.
WY9 just sold. Thank you so much.
Basically, if it sounds like a potion, I'll probably try it.
Andrew will give it a shot.
I know. That's my thing. I don't know. Basically, anything that looks like it could possibly taste like perfume, I'm interested in.
Right. And sometimes they do.
That's my generational trauma.
Sometimes they definitely taste like perfume.
Yeah, there is. I had this lavender lemonade one.
That was like a shot of
they
floral.
They were heavy-handed with the lavender.
Yes, they were.
And light-handed with the lemonade. And I think there was like gin in it or something. And I was like, ooh, my mouth feels so clean, like a laundromat.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Fabuloso.
Fabuloso. All right. This is a lampwork glass pendant that resembles a speckled flower, I don't know, of some sort, with a green leaf.
Isn't that fun?
It is fun. It is fun. And it's drilled through the stem. Was $24, bringing it down to $18 only for y'all.
Nice.
That's about 1 3/4 by about 1 inch at the widest. WY10 was $24, now $18. Lampwork glass flower with the green leaves. Beautiful piece.
Did everybody see what they're having for dinner?
No, I didn't even question dinner today.
That's like the most important question.
I know. We got some frozen pizza for dinner tonight.
I'm excited for it.
I'm actually very excited for it too. I asked Andrew what he wanted.
Cake.
Yeah, I also got a little bit of cake. It's Susan's birthday. We have to celebrate.
Surreal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, bootsy. So I got cake We've got cake too. I didn't know if Andrew saw it yet or not. I was going to surprise him later, but he sniffed that out.
Mm-hmm. If you bring cake or sweets in this house, I'm gonna find it. Did you know she was my first customer?
I know. That's why we're going to celebrate her birthday with some cake.
Sorry she didn't know I could get it. But
She's having cake right now. She left to get cake.
Oh.
I don't know if she's back yet or not. Oop. This was...
Did they go to lunch?
She said she had a good day. She's going to post some pictures later.
Okay.
Kimberly says, I'm going to make the most unhealthy thing ever, packaged ramen. Oh, we eat that a lot.
So I made an accident last night, and I ordered some ramen, and it went on the wrong credit card, and I was like, oh!
Yeah, it did.
So here's another fun story. When I used
Susan says, I'm back. I want more cake. Haha.
Me too. When I lived in New York City, I used to work for Tom Colicchio. And he had this restaurant chain called Craft and Craft Bar. And I worked with one of his head chefs who ended up opening his own franchise called Witchcraft, named Sisha or Orthazar. And sometimes we would get out of the restaurant and it was so
This is a cabochon, Kimberly. This is not a pendant. So this is a beautiful cab by Harry Wood, and it is approximately 2¼ inches, and it's only $14.
Put a glue-on bail.
If you wanted that, or do some bead weaving or some wire wrapping.
Mm-hmm. And is it glazed on the back?
It is not. Well, it actually is. It's a clear glaze, it looks like, on the back.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. So it's not rough.
It's not rough. Yeah, it's actually glazed. And so it's red, blue with the light blue, 2 different colors of light blue dots. Beautiful. Okay, go ahead, Andrew.
So we used to get out really late sometimes, and nothing would be open. And except for like really like junky places to eat, like the bodegas and stuff. Sometimes it was just like not good. So for a while, they would take turns hosting other people at the restaurant. And so you could, what they would do is that basically anything that was going to go bad, they would turn it into something like a meal. And because they didn't want to waste the food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so some of the best meals that I've had were going to different restaurants around the city.
I bet.
And so one of them was David Chang.
Oh, wow.
Chang. And he was the owner. He's the owner of Momofuku. And we went in there, and I had some of the best ramen. And it was like at 4 o'clock in the morning. Everybody was exasperated, tired, and then that was good times.
Anyways, we're doing some lampwork glass.
So we have some bougie ramen on the way.
Bougie ramen.
I'm excited for it. This is not like the I was like, I'm just gonna eat the heck out of it. But this is not the eat the heck out of it kind. This is like a special way.
He's like, I put it on the wrong card, but we've got good groceries coming.
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited.
So these are lampwork glass. There are 6 of them. They were $30, so that was what, $5 each. Bringing them down to $24, so only $4 a bead.
You know what did it is they gave me ramen days coming up.
Oops. Sorry, everybody. The ramen days are coming up.
It's like a national ramen day. Did you know that was a thing?
No, I did not.
Well, now you do.
Susan says, Harry has outdone himself with his pendants. I know, right?
Oh, these are fun.
Aren't these fun? $24 for the whole strand instead of $30.
You know what they remind me of? Graffiti.
Yeah, they do. They're super cool.
I should call it street art.
Street art.
And then that sounds less like property damage.
Street art. So
wouldn't that be fun? For those vintage German beads the ceramic beads.
Which ones?
The hand-painted ceramic that are blue and yellow and kind of funky.
Yeah, I don't think we have any.
I'm sure we've got some
I don't know
somewhere.
about here, though. No,
I'm sure we've got some
sure
somewhere.
we've got some somewhere. These are about 17 and a half by 17 and a half. 17 and a half millimeter.
So do y'all like story time, or is it annoying? And you're like, just show the beads and shut your teeth.
What do y'all prefer? Me to rush through the lots, or you like Andrew's storytelling while I give you details on the lots? WY13. Do y'all want some Lamport glass tonight? What do you want? What do you want? Cheryl says, I am invested in story time.
Okay.
These are pretty. Pretty pink Lamport glass. Let's pull these.
I'm trying to think of some good ones for you. We'll see what happens.
Let's do these. These were 14. Let's do them at 10. What the heck? $10 for the pair. Suzanne says, stories are interesting.
I'm glad y'all think so.
I am for Andrew's storytelling, says Angela. So these are Lamport glass. Look how beautiful these are. They were $14 for the pair. Now only $10 for the pair. That's a pair of earrings right there that you can just make and sell quick. Susan says, hi, Angela. Yeah, hi, Angela, by the way.
Angela, you said you wanted to learn something, but now it has been raptured from my mind, and I can't remember what it was. What is it?
What is it? Look at how beautiful. I love these. WY13, $10 for the pair. Lamport glass.
Somebody wanted to see the studded Kumihimo.
And these are approximately 12 millimeters by 21 and a half. Vicky says, I like Andrew's stories.
Good.
They like you. They really like you.
I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to forget them, so I might as well tell them while I still can.
Tell them while you can. There's a memory of them somewhere.
I know.
A digital memory.
Maybe.
Stories, says Charlie. WY14. Let's see what else we got right here.
My stomach's rumbling thinking of that ramen.
Yeah, what all are you? The rest of you eating? We talked about ramen. We've got frozen pizza, which I think is going to be delicious. Actually,
Did you get the ones you always get?
I got. What did I get? I got one of the very thin crust margaritas that we get. And then I splurged a little and got the real truffle and mushroom one that you like.
Oh, I love that one.
I figured you did. I figured you needed that with your headache.
You know, isn't that funny how 1 minute I can barely get up off the couch.
Yeah, you were really.
And then the next, after it rains, I don't know where we need to live, but this is not the place. 'Cause I never had. I don't
What is that
recall
stone?
having.
Is that a dyed highlight? That's what I thought.
It's nice though.
It's really nice. We had it at 18. I'm gonna bring it down to 14. It's deal night. Julie just got some Chipotle.
This one's excellent.
Yes, it does.
What should we make for tomorrow?
For book club? I don't know. I didn't read the book.
It's in Italy.
It's in Italy. We'll have their pizza again.
I know. I think there are like oranges. Did they eat oranges in there? Look
at this dyed howlite, made to look like turquoise, but these are big stones of beautiful imitation turquoise, dyed howlite.
They bake bread.
Charlie says, I made chicken fried steak with gravy, then made homemade ranch for veggies.
sounds good.
And then Charlie's saying make gnocchi maybe. Pasta with non-dairy vodka sauce is what Suzanne had today.
Sounds great.
Cheryl had a Santa Fe salad from Aldi, and now it's popcorn and a diet ginger beer time.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it does. I haven't had popcorn in a long time. I went through a phase I was eating a lot of popcorn. I should get some more popcorn. It's a good snack in the evenings. WY14 was $18 for the strand. This strand is 16 inches. There's only one available, one left. This is vintage. 14 millimeters by 21 millimeters. And this one has sold. Thank you so much. Lennis had spaghetti and a salad. That sounds good.
I have to refresh. I'm probably not going to be able to refresh by tomorrow because that one book is dragging. Anyway, so that I know they go and they make the food out of the stuff, and is it frogs or there's eels? They make eel pies.
Oh, eels for Italy? Yeah, they do that there.
And at one point, the one character, she gets so mad at the one because she ruined up all the bread or the eels or whatever it was.
Okay, these next ones are going to be a little bit expensive.
I don't think we're going to eat eels tomorrow, though.
No, we don't eat eels anyway.
They're delicious.
They're delicious. Who are these from? Remind me.
That's
Is it Chris? Suzanne Fox. Cinderella.
It starts with the C.
C.
I met her through Beads of Courage.
So these are Lamport pieces by Suzanne Fox. They are a little bit more expensive, but you'll see why. Because they're super nice.
We became fast friends. I like her.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in years and years. But we went to the African Art Village, and we just had the best day.
Now these were 40. I'm going to bring them down to 36. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. And really they're probably worth more than that at this point. But they are so dang cute. These are from our personal collection. We actually did a trunk show with her at one point, and we grabbed these for ourselves.
I like that.
Let's see. Kimberly says, oh, maybe I just have to look and see if I have any popcorn. Norma had a turkey cheddar sausage roll with onions and red peppers and chips and dip. Oh, I want some chips and dip.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, now I want some chips and dip. But I didn't get any. I got cake instead. I was split between do I get chips tonight or do I get cake tonight?
How about both?
I was going to get both, but I figured that's a little bit more splurging than I splurged on the pizza. Suzanne says, I have one from her trunk show. Aren't they beautiful?
She is also one of the sweetest kind of people.
Little hearts in the back. So WY15, $36, down from 40. We'll never probably have them at $36 again. 40 is like the lowest we've ever gone on those.
I'm invested in supporting nice people.
Yes.
I should reach out to her now that I would think about it.
Yeah, maybe we'll do another trunk show.
And just say hi.
That too. I reached out to June today to say hi. Because I thought about her, but I don't know if I've heard back because I haven't checked my messages again. But we haven't heard from June in a while, and I wanted to check in on her.
Good. I miss June.
Me too. That's what I said. We miss you.
And she has some cool stories.
Yes.
Even if she doesn't watch the other lives, maybe she can come for the creative make-along.
Yeah, I know. That'd be nice.
Because she said that that's the only time she makes stuff is during the creative make-along.
Yeah.
I should be like, how's that working out for you? Do you making anything anymore?
Oh, and I didn't give you the size on these. These are approximately 23.5 by 31. I don't know if I gave you the size in the other one. 23.5 by 31. And you know what? I'm just going to put out, I have one more. And I'm going to show you that one too so you can see. what they look like together. This one's just an individual bird with the heart on the back. They all generally have a hearts on the back. These are lampwork glass, beautiful lampwork glass. Let me set the other one out with these so that you can see all three of them together if you want to make a choice. But if you love collecting nice people's things, hello, Mary Jane. You came just in time again for the glass. How was time with your grandkids? Suzanne says June Fujimoto. Yes.
I haven't seen her for a while. I see her sometimes on pop up on other people's lives, but I have not. Our schedule is so opposite of a lot of other people's that I never watch anymore.
I know. So this is from Suzanne Fox, lampwork, beautiful lampwork glass pendants. They've got the bail already attached and built in.
I have a question for folks.
All right.
Now this could be potentially polarizing.
Uh-oh.
So here's the new mix I made. You may have heard me shuffling around in the background. Do you like it just like this? This is like vintage Czech glass palooza.
Vintage Czech glass palooza.
Let
me put these away now.
Oh, you had multiples out?
Yeah. I put all three of these out so people could see them at once.
Okay. Yeah, I really like her pieces. We both have like the love for the crows and ravens, so. So the question is, leave it like this. So basically blues and brown and beige with a little bit of some orangey brown. Or I add a little bit of spice and put that bright orange in there. Is that too much?
Cheryl says it's perfect the way it is.
You don't want it to have a...
But she said that before she saw the orange. So let's see. Angela says, love the vintage Czech in there.
Yeah, some of that's antique. Yeah, I know that.
Look at that cutie. What is that cute little thing? Somebody's going to get that in one of theirs.
Look at this. This sticker. This was old when we got, and that collection is from 1989.
Antique Czech was on there from the 90s already.
1989.
1989.
So technically the 80s.
Norma says, beautiful mix.
Add the orange or skip it?
Seems like people are saying skip the orange. Mary Jane wants to see these glass pendants again. Let me show you. All right. This is 15. It looks like this. Lennis likes the orange. And that's the back. And then 16. Suzanne also likes the orange. Uh-oh.
Maybe I'll do two.
This is 16. Has the 3 hearts. I think I chose this one because I love those 3 hearts in the back. And then this one is 17.
You know what it reminds me of?
Mary Jane likes the orange in there too. What's it remind you of?
Guess.
What?
You know what that is?
That song with that woman singing. I know what that. He made this hand motion. I knew exactly what it was. Well, how does that remind you of that?
Because they're birds.
Birds of a feather. Yeah.
Billie Eilish. So it's Billie Eilish sung by, is it Thailand? I don't know, somewhere Southeast Asia. and they have American Idol, but I guess it's not American Idol because they're not American. But she was like so into the Birds of a Feather song, and she like knew the lyrics, and she was like singing her heart out.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that version of it.
I know. He sings it all the time.
I know, just like how she sings it.
Uh-huh.
When Billie Eilish comes on and
It
sings
feels
it,
weird.
I was like, "What's this? Who's this copying her? Stop copying her."
Lena says, with the orange in the mix, it matches these birds, right? These orange hearts.
All right, a little bit.
All right, number 17. This one has sold. The single bird with the orange and blue and red heart.
It changed the flavor, y'all.
It changed the flavor. You added the orange. You went and did it.
I just did it. I just went for it.
You just went for it. Okay, so 17 is sold. 15 and 16. Susie says, I love these birds. Aren't they super cute? Little lovebirds sitting together. Look at that one giving that other one the eye. Eyeing them up good. And these two just all sitting together. Super cute. I love the 3D effect on these. They're not flattened. They've got the piled up glass on there to give you some really good color and good texture.
Basically paints it on with hot glass.
Oh, yeah?
So
I love the line work. It's so, her black lines.
So that's stringer.
That's amazing. And it's because it's so detailed.
You know, I don't know if she has a place to do it anymore because one of the places she used to go got wiped away in the hurricane time.
Oh.
So I have to check on her.
Let's see. What else am I doing next? What do you like? What do you want, everybody? Let me see. I've done. Huh? Oh. How much you want? We did one of your Bronsons at 20 the other night.
I don't know. Do we have it on the website or is that?
I don't think we had this one. That's
the elemental one.
That's the full elemental. Let's check. The other one I just packed up today. It was sold. That's how I remember it. Let's see. We have Love Exponential. Tree. That one. Come on. Oh, we do have that one. We have at least one of them.
How much is that?
20. Want to do a deal on this one?
Yeah, I guess. 18.
18. So this is on the website at 20, but we have one available here. If it doesn't sell here, we'll just put it on the website. We'll reduce it down to $18. This is the 4 Elements.
Just for tonight, though.
Yeah, just for tonight. WY18. $18 only. This is a bronze pendant by Andrew. He designed it, made the mold, pressed it out. Those are his fingerprints, slightly reduced since the clay shrinks.
You know what's available right now to watch in Wheel of Time? In the last episode of Reacher.
Oh, we got stuff to watch tonight.
But I also am invested in Mavis.
Yeah.
So...
I think that's going to be tonight. I'd rather have light, I think. This is... I'd rather have like light and funny tonight. This is 18 and a half by about 26 and a half. Huh?
But Wheel of Time.
I know, but I think Mavis is what I'm leaning toward. Gesundheit. So this is what? Earth, Wind, Fire, Water in bronze. Made by Andrew. WY18. Normally $20 on the website. We'll take it down to 18 for y'all. It's a little 10% off.
Them Aes Sedai getting up to no good.
Them Aes Sedai getting up to no good.
They're trying to do that redemption of Dylan stuff. And
I know. Like that. No. Sometimes they don't need to be redeemed. They've
Like,
been too bad.
I know. I was like, let's just keep the. I don't need to feel empathy for the balloon anymore.
No.
I'm sure they got their reasons. It's not my problem. Oh well.
Let them.
Wouldn't that be funny if they did like, if they like retconned a bunch of movies where they put that Mel Robbins in there and she's just like,
Let them.
And then that would like solve all the problems of the movies.
That'd be funny. Let's see. Let me see.
There you go. A number one bestseller idea.
Number one bestseller idea. Let's see. This is WY19. We did this at 12. Let's take it down to 10. It's the night of deals. Night of deals. WY19. We got some more lampwork glass here for y'all.
That's like those, like in all those, like some of those movies, they get like so vendetta time against these people who like one time said something nasty to somebody and they're like, for the honor. And it's like, who cares?
Who cares?
Go live in your castle and mind your business.
Mind
like
your
Game
business.
Of Thrones, who wants to sit on that pointy chair?
Right?
I don't.
Who wants all that pressure?
I don't.
I mean, honestly, I'd rather just
stab you in the back next
take
week?
my dragon and go flying.
I know. Let's go to the paradise place where they're gonna leave you alone. You're gonna mind your own business.
Right.
Live on the beach, eat some fish tacos. It's like that little girl. She turned in her homework assignment, and then they're like,
Julie says that is stunning, isn't it? $10, Julie.
Wait, which one?
This.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Was 12, taking it down to 10.
How is that 12?
It used to be 12. 18.5 by 20, approximately.
Boy, we just giving it all.
I know, giving it all away.
That's like a $24 beat.
Mm-hmm. I know.
But did you see that homework assignment of that little girl? And they're like, where do you see yourself in 50 years or something? And she's like, I'm going to tell everybody something, and then I'm going to live my best life on the beach with my little dog and eat fish tacos in a hut.
In a hut. Sounds good. She's got the right idea.
See, I'm not ambitious enough to be like, take over.
What are these? What is this bag? Oh my goodness, these are beautiful. I totally didn't even remember we had these.
I made that.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you priced them. I can't go lower than this. They were $16.
Did y'all know I used to do this kind of stuff?
Look at this. This is gorgeous.
This is years and years ago. That slice of agate is particularly nice.
Yes, it is. This is soft soldered agate by Andrew. Years and years ago, apparently. Didn't even know we had this. This is approximately. Oh, I got the light. Let me.
It's kind of like a purpley color.
Yeah, it is. This is almost about 2.25 inches by about 1.25 inches.
Do y'all remember Beat and Button Show? I used to teach soft solder.
I didn't know you taught there.
It's true. I made this project
About
that had
2.5 millimeters.
And got some jingle jangle on the inside, and then you soft solder it together.
There you go. WY20. I've got another one here, so just hold on, everybody. I've got a few more of these here. WY20 has just sold, though. Thank you so much. So let me put that one away.
That one's a particularly nice thing.
Yeah. That's a very nice agate right there. That's a good choice for somebody. Let's see. Ooh, look at this one. Looking for a green blue, like an ocean one.
That one's died.
WY21, also $16.
The agate didn't come like that from the earth.
Didn't come like that from the earth.
Wouldn't that be fun if it did? I
I'm
mean, there
sure
are
some
some
do.
stones.
Yeah. Whoop. So this one, $16. This is 2.5 inches by about an inch.
I used to make those and put them. I go down to the Loyal Hannah and pick up driftwood off the what do you call that? The bank.
Off the bank.
And
Oh, 21 just sold. Thank you so much. This one has sold.
and I would put those in what you call that? A mobile.
A mobile.
Um, and I would put it because we met this dude who sold. He would they have his family is in China, and they had these horrible storms and stuff, and it wiped out all of their local economy. So he went back over there, and he got them to make what's called cultured sea glass. So basically, they would make the glass beads, and then they have these great big tumblers that they put in with some sand, and then they would make this. They called it cultured sea glass. So it's basically just matte glass. And so we met him at a show, and we bought way too much.
I remember that.
And so I
It's a
was
good
like,
story, though.
"Yep." And
Good reason.
I was like, "What are we gonna do with all this?" And so I went and I had all these seashells.
These are about 2.5 by about an inch and an eighth.
And so I would hang that as like the thing that would like dangle in the wind.
They're kind of like little fairy wings.
And I have one left, and it hangs over my bed, my
In your private room now?
my Mary Tyler Moore room.
I stayed there last night.
You may be too tall for that bed.
It worked just fine.
His feet were hanging off the edge.
It worked just fine. Here's this one.
Wouldn't that be funny if I went back in the other room?
I know, right? I'd be like, what you got against me? Oh, poor William.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Look at this one. This one's almost holographic in the way that it reflects the light.
Yeah, some of those ones,
It's almost opalescent. It's so pretty.
some of those, they have a thing called iris agate. And it's, they do have like the way that it forms, it has that kind of extra to it.
I don't know how I missed all these. You must have done these on a day I wasn't around. I don't know what happened. I don't remember these at all.
I don't remember it either.
I don't remember these at all, but they're in a bag here.
And you know what? I just had those in a box for years.
Could be making and selling them.
We have a bunch of specimens.
I know, we do. Need to learn how to do it. So this is WY 22, 23, and 24. That's the last of those, I believe.
I won't charge you for a class.
You won't charge me for the class.
You know who teaches soft solder? If you want to learn from me, Lynn Seprock. She started teaching that.
I know. I saw she just did a class. I saw it pop up. She was asking who else wants to do one.
And you're like, Andrew's not a good teacher.
Oh, poor Andrew.
No, I think I'm a good teacher.
You are a good teacher. How's everybody doing out there?
She showed me how to make a little book.
Yeah.
You know what also I learned from her? You can use a rubber stamp, and it stinks to all get out, but you can use a rubber stamp and texture the soft solder with it.
Huh. What is this?
I met her years ago. She came for a class with Gil Crosman Moore. It was probably one of our first big, what you call it, It was the first kind of big,
Creative camp.
no, it was called Weekend Intensive. And so Gail slept on our couch, and you know who else was in that? Ian Gardan was in that class.
Look at this. I forgot you had this.
Oh, that's a nice one.
This has CZ's, amethyst.
It's silver.
It's silver.
And that was before she used to do lamp work class, and then she took that workshop with Gail and started doing more enamel. Like, I think she may have like done something with Barbara back in the day, Barbara Lewis.
This is a vintage jewelry piece done in sterling silver. WY25, $86.
You know, I regret not taking that workshop with Gail.
Julie says I finally met Gail in Tucson this year.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah, we like her a lot. Like her a lot.
You know, she's from Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
From State College.
Does she still have family here?
I don't know if they're alive or not.
Do you have paper down there?
Huh?
Do you have paper down there?
She does teach out on the other side sometimes. She teaches on that plastic, shrink plastic.
Mm.
You know, everything's new and that's old again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to do make shrink plastic when I was a child.
Yeah. Those are cute.
But Julie Haymaker does really do a good job. She does she makes these like floral pieces that look really cool, and they have like all these like gadgets now. Back in the day, you had color pencils and an oven, and now there's like all these molds and stuff that you can stick it in.
These were 16. Now taking them down to 14. This is a dyed jade.
You have paper over there. I'll cut it.
I do not.
What about that paper?
That's your notes.
Give it to me.
Well, one of them is your notes at least.
I'm sure that's very important.
There's more paper downstairs in the dining room. This is a very pretty green and purple and pink dyed jade. And these are faceted rounds. There are, oops, I should put on here. There are 2 of these available. 2 of these available.
You just manifest it and it appears. You know what Gail and I were talking about that I am like really interested in?
6 millimeter.
And I don't know how this will work out with everything going on in the world right now. But she went and spent time in Mexico and she got her teeth done.
Oh, yeah?
And she said that it cost so much less, and then she got to like recover in like this tropical
paradise.
And the thing is like such a big thing that they have like it's like a whole economy for that town. So they have tourists who come down across the border over by Yuma. And if I can time it right, I'll go to the Yuma Symposium.
I don't know if you should be crossing the border right now.
Yeah, oh well, but at least I'll have nice teeth.
And I'll never see you again because you'll be stranded in Mexico.
You can come and visit.
I can come and visit.
Bring the cats.
Bring the cats to visit you.
We can't Skype because I don't know if Skype exists anymore, but we can Zoom.
We can Zoom. Is this stone or glass?
Tallulah was being so sweet to me. This is a synthetic stone.
That's what I thought. Angela says, I loved Shrinky Dink. Shrink plastic still is available.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it
all
is.
Kinds. They have a matte one that you can color on. You see, back in the day, they had one kind, and you'd have to take a sandpaper and sand the heck out of it, and then you could color on it. But now they sell it and it's perfectly matte, and then so you can just directly color.
This is a synthetic stone.
If that's something y'all want to see, I can show that. I'm sure I've got a pack or two hidden somewhere.
Shrinking inks. Shrink plastic. This is WY27. This is synthetic stone. It was $8 for the strand. Ran down to $6 for you. This is an 8-inch strand. And these little beautiful beads are approximately 10.5 by 14.5 millimeters. Kimberly said those are different, right? Aren't they fun? Like green and blue.
They kind of remind me of the ocean.
They've got a little bit of gold in them too. If you look, a little bit of yellow gold color. They're really pretty. And they're only $6 a strand. WY27. One strand available.
Inexpensive.
Very inexpensive. Ready for
you all like tutorials at our time slot, or do you want them at a different time? Because somebody was saying that they want
those
to
have
watch,
sold. Thank you so much.
They want to watch the tutorials, but they always fall asleep. And so, I know there's replay, but I don't know. Do you think we should bring back the Saturday morning tutorial, maybe?
I would love to bring that back, but something that's not live, because the whole point of that is that it's filmed.
Recorded.
Yeah. Okay, this was 16. I'm going to bring it down to 14. That's, boy, my writing is getting worse and worse. I'm marking myself up here.
You just need to practice. You know what we did before? One of my teachers, she had in high school, she won all these awards for being like a coach of students. So like, she got all these students, and they would get like hundreds of scholarships, and
oh wow,
like she was like what do you call it when they do stuff and like the ringer or whatever? I don't know like she was a coach, like an academic coach. And so she had us, and I'll never forget this, she had us write all these essays by hand, and we're like, why are we writing all these essays? And she said, first thing, if your handwriting is illegible, you're the person who's grading your test, no matter how good your theory is,
they're not going to read it.
Instantly dislike it if it's hard for them to read. Number two is that if you don't practice and you don't have that muscle strength in your hand, because this is before you could type stuff. And so she said, if you can't write, you're going to be in pain by the end of the test, and you're going to stop performing well.
These are 8.5 millimeter. These are a faceted blue and clear vintage antique at this point glass coin bead, faceted coin. Look how beautiful. $14 now, down from $16. One strand left. Vintage glass.
And so her name was Jane Cooper. She's still alive, and she, believe it or not, my fellow classmates, most of them went to MIT and Harvard, and are all doctors and lawyers. And
this is a 15-inch strand. So
she really she also taught us how to speed read, which I didn't, because I didn't really know what that is. But we did that, and she co-taught this class with Pamela Sawyers. And so she taught us how to speed read.
28 just sold. Thank you so much. Bobby says the CPA exam used to be handwritten, and the handwriting was a big part of your score. Anna says, William, did I get 28? Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Anna. Thank you. Thank you for grabbing that. That was beautiful. It's a beautiful strand. Oh, I put something else. Where did I put?
Yes, I think it's interesting. And I had a teacher, and I don't know if he's still up because it's been a long time. and he was a science teacher, and he was so prickly doodah about it. Like when you did your homework, he had this form, like a format, like a style guide for how you turned in your homework. And you couldn't like cram stuff in the margin. And he was in the military, and so everything was like precision. Like you get points deducted off your homework if you had like stuff in the margins or down too close to the bottom.
Is this jade or is this an agate?
That's the jade.
Natural jade.
They call it, I think, flower jade sometimes.
And these are these twisted ovals, and they were $12, bringing them down to 10. It's an 8-inch strand.
Mr. Harrison.
And these are about 12, just about 12 and a half by about 16. Really, these are pretty. Mr. Harrison.
And he wrote me a letter once, and it said to Master Andrew Thornton, because apparently you called the children the master.
Where is that?
I must have been in middle school.
Who calls the children master?
I don't know, but
Master Thornton. It's like
I don't know, that's before like Downton Abbey style.
I was gonna say that's
I mean, long before Downton Abbey. But I don't know if you called a girl, but he wrote us, and it was all handwritten, and it was like so neat and precise. And
Anna says that's old-fashioned talking. Julie says it's British.
Wow,
was he British?
No. But he used to smoke. I'm assuming he used to smoke because his voice was like the deepest, like whiskiest, like voice. And then, like we would have the overhead projector, and they you turn the lights off, and then you watch these like slides that were basically on wet media acetate. And like I remember being like so sleepy in his class. Well, they all were. I don't know how I learned anything. Basically through my dreams.
Through your dreams. This is a Harry Wood connector. There's 2 holes, one on each side. And it was 12. Bring it down to 10 only for tonight only. And this is a nice long connector, 3 inches by 1 3/8. In this beautiful deep green with yellow speckle.
And you know what? Nothing's changed. We go to these symposiums and stuff, and I basically am late. And William has to keep me awake.
I do. I knee knock him every once in a while.
I'm like, what you doing?
It's like making the people not hate you.
And we always sit like close to the front.
Yes, he likes to sit in the front, and then he likes to fall asleep.
And then so they can directly see my face.
Yeah.
And it happens every time.
Oh, Lena says, yes, in England still. My husband's cousin's son's last name is Bates, which is not good. No, that's not a good name for that. That's not a good name for that, right? WY31. Let's see, what else should I pull down here? What are you all looking for? Are you looking for some different things? How about this friend? This friend's been around. This is...
Did y'all learn how to type on a typewriter? Or computer?
This was...
You said you learned on computer, right? Like you had an old typewriter.
We had typewriters, but when we actually learned, we had computers in elementary school. So we had a computer lab when I was in elementary school back in the 80s. So our school was kind of developed pretty well for technology.
Like we had computers, but I learned on a typewriter.
Yeah, there were some people in my grade, like when we had actual typing class, that was like middle school or even high school. Some of them had had to learn on the typewriter, and some of us got to learn on the computer lab, and I was a computer lab person.
There was we had to pick which teacher we wanted to go to. And so there was this one, and she did like, I wanted to be with my friends, and I didn't want to take the typing class. But the teacher, she wanted me in the class. I actually knew how to type.
Knew how to type.
Well, I cheated, so.
You cheated.
And how I did that is, I guess my eyes like dislocated, and I could like look at the typewriter and look at
your eyes dislocated.
I don't
Sorry,
know how to describe it,
I was going to try and take this off, but this is a pin, and it's like a brooch, and this is from Ellie Groninger, and she takes old metal like washing machines and all different things, and she cuts them up, and she reuses the pieces, and she creates these fun things with them. So this was $45, bringing it down to $40 for y'all. You can see the price on it was $45. We did a show with her. She had huge sculptures in the show, and she had some of these little things. So this is one of the little ones. This is Squeakster, and it's a one-of-a-kind pin.
But it wasn't really cheating. It was just looking out of the corner of your eye. But if your head, if your head was not turned, she would turn your head.
Oh.
And she was very forceful in the way that she turned your head.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to look down. So if our teacher saw us looking down,
we had to go like this.
We could look, because we were looking at a computer screen. So we would look that way. But if we even tilted our head the least little bit, she came around.
There's also this kid. So she was, she had this thing called the gum jar. And the kid next to me, I don't know if he has lost his sense of smell.
Kimberly wanted to know how long this is from hole to hole. So from midpoint of the hole to midpoint of the other hole, approximately 2 7/16. No, 9/16. Approximately 2 9/16. From hole to hole, center to center.
And so she used to have these displayed, and they were these jars. And if she caught you with gum, you would have to spit it in the jar. And you were not allowed to take it out of your mouth and put it in the jar. You had to spit it in the jar. And so your face got right up in there. And my face was not right up in there because I never chewed gum in her class. And I never chewed gum hardly at all then.
Yeah.
But, so the kid, every day he spat gum into that jar.
Ugh.
And every day I get a waft of that nasty odor. And
you got to enjoy.
I know. Like all of us, it's like a fallout zone around that kid. And if you got caught with detention, if she gave you detention, they gave you these paint scrapers that she purposely sharpened, and you had to go around the school and scrape gum off the bottoms of the table.
Oh my goodness.
And add it to her jar.
Add it to the jar.
And she had like a whole collection of these jars that were all kinds of funky nasty. But that's not the only person that had like kind of weird jars and stuff.
Let's see. Julie says, I learned on a typewriter. I won an award for fast typing. Lena says, yes, we had typing class in junior high. Susie says, I even learned shorthand. Kimberly says, that's so gross. Yeah. And Mary Jane says, love that. So I don't know what. The pin, you like the pin? Or part of the story? What? I don't know, right?
We'll just go with it.
Go with it, whatever it is.
But she was not the only teacher that had jars of stuff. We had an anatomy teacher named Mrs. Cabell, and me and Hayden were in that class. And anyway, so she had been teaching so long.
Kimberly's getting nauseous hearing the gum story.
Oh, I have more ghost stories. So she'd been teaching so long, and she taught anatomy. She was like ready to retire. She was like done with it. And so she's this old lady.
This is dichroic glass pendant.
And I liked her a lot. We got along really well. And
Approximately 3¼ inches by 1¼ inch.
so one time we had this like lesson on bones and stuff, and she's talking about bunions. And this girl's like this black girl, Letitia. She she's so hilarious.
Good night, Mary Jane. Blessed night, everyone. Got to get up early. We'll watch at work. Thank you.
So she goes, "Y'all ever seen a bunion before?" And Letitia's like, "I never saw that before." So, and Miss Cabell, she's real tall too. And so she took off her shoe and she slammed her foot on the table.
Oh my
goodness! It was like
goodness.
a foot away from Letitia, and Letitia started screaming. And she goes, "There, that's what you put. That's a bunion." And
She's
so,
like, I never want to see a bunion. That probably traumatized Letitia.
well, that's not the only thing. So anyway, she'd been working at that school for a very long time. And so she was in anatomy, so she had all of these like parts, human body parts, and animals that were in formaldehyde, and they were in like these like basically spaghetti jars. So she had this whole cabinet of all these like body parts, basically. And then she'd been there so long that some of the students, they had lost their babies. And so they gave her their babies, and she had all these like jars.
That has to be made up.
No, it's not.
That has to be made up.
No, they were. You can ask Peyton if you don't believe me. There were all these jars of dead babies in her class.
You could just give a baby like that?
She was there at the old times.
I guess.
Like this, she'd been there for a long time. And so there were these jars of babies and stuff in the back, and we're like, "Oh,
this is furnace glass. The strand of furnace glass was $16, now $12."
And so the year that she retired,
WY33.
the air conditioning went out in the whole building, and this is Florida, so this is not a place that's like.
You trying to gross people out?
Well, I'm just telling you the stories of my youth. And so
numbers are gonna drop.
They said they like story time. And so those are what's his face? Christian.
Are they? I thought these ones weren't.
Those ones are, I think. Let me see.
Because we only priced them at $12.
Oh, this is.
Because last time you said no, those aren't.
No, I was talking about the other ones. These ones are.
Okay, well you're getting a good deal. This is a really good deal then.
I think they are, anyways. So so the air conditioning went out.
This is at least an 8-inch strand.
And so she had there were like those lockers that they were like metal mat, like not mesh but grating. And so then you could see her collection. And the air conditioning went out, and so some of the bottles had exploded. And so they had to close that whole section.
I bet they did.
And had to call in the biohazard people. And so she retired.
Goodness.
They had to rip up all the linoleum, and
my goodness.
that whole area had been like they basically redid that classroom because it was so bad. And they ended up turning in her specimens to the hospital, and the hospital incinerated.
Kimberly says, my middle school science teacher had a collection of preserved things in jars, and she had a fetus too. I believe this.
And the skeleton was not fake. It was not fake. It was a real skeleton.
David Christensen furnace glass.
Is that one?
I don't know.
That looks like it.
WY34 this time. This is a more of a purple instead of the black color. $16 for the strand, now $12.
Did you see the one Cheryl made?
The earrings?
Yeah, earrings and necklace, I thought.
I saw the earrings with the long. I don't know. I think she was using your mix, the one I saw.
Oh no, the one is a couple days ago. But anyway, so in that same class, and it was early in the morning, there was this girl, and I can't remember her name, and I probably shouldn't say it anyways. And she was in this dancing squad. It was like there were cheerleaders, and then they had these dancers that like did stuff with like flags and stuff, and they used to wear this like real tight outfits, um, and I had interviewed her for the newspaper, and she had left this real cryptic message about how you have to live with the consequences of your actions. And I was like, what the heck is that? So, anyways, during Mrs. Cabell's class, um, the SWAT team came into the room, and they were like, "Is blah 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 here?" And I can't remember her name. I think her name was Portia. It's all like it's like sounding like I'm in the Roman Colosseum, Portia and Letitia. But anyway, so she is. They said she's like, I'm here, and they're like, come with us. And they said it, and they're like, you're in trouble for abandoning a baby at the Thai food restaurant. And she goes, my baby ain't at no Thai food restaurant. And so what it was the girl had borrowed her phone and anonymously reported that she'd left the baby at the Thai food restaurant.
Oh boy.
So in the morning time, she had gave birth in her closet at home by herself, and then she dropped off the baby at the Thai food restaurant, and then she borrowed Portia's.
Yes, Kimberly. These are 12mm Rivolis, $1.50 each.
And so she borrowed that girl's phone and then called it in, and then there was a big court case because that wasn't
S word.
I guess if you drop the baby off at the fire department, you don't get in trouble. But since it wasn't at the fire department, it was a Thai food restaurant, she got in trouble for child abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
And she eventually sued to get her baby back because she said that she was under duress or whatever and had been like basically crazy. And so I think she got the baby back too.
Hopefully the baby got taken care of.
I don't know. Baby's an adult now.
Yeah, I bet.
And that same Thai food restaurant, sometimes, like, we talked about this before about if you could go off campus or not. And they had a buffet. And we went into the buffet. And we were getting stuff because it was cheap. And we went over to the chicken, and I started looking at the chicken. And I was like, that doesn't look right. And they were like, what do you mean? I said, do chicken have hips? Like a hip bone? Like a pelvis? And so I think they had gotten some other kind of creature and put it in with the chicken. And so, yeah, that place was also always closed because of health code violations. You know, that's that area that I went to high school. It was fancy now.
Yeah, that's what you said.
When I went to school there, it was not fancy. It was literally the ghetto.
This is S word crystal. S word. Is this S word?
Yes.
Yeah. $3.50. $3.50 only.
I can't remember the color. It's like sunshine or sunflower. It was one of their newer colors.
And it is about 17 millimeters by just about 12. That's a massive topaz. S word crystal. $3.50. One available. Just one of those left.
You know that Daniel who lives here in Greensburg? He was in that class, but he has no recollection of these things happening.
He was in a different world.
I know. I was like, you don't remember that at all?
Of course, your memory is a lot better than most people's.
How can you forget the SWAT team coming? That's not something that happened like every day.
No, but that is something you might block out.
Or so I was like, were you at like basketball practice or something? Or baseball, whatever sport practice?
There's that too, right?
I also I was in New York City, and where I went to college, and I was walking around, and somebody came up to me and said, "Oh, Andrew." They had a complete conversation with me. This was not very long after I was in high school, so and I had no recollection of who this person was. I still don't know who it was.
You still don't know?
But they were in the same classes. They were in that Mrs. Cowell's class.
Kimberly's waiting to see if you've got that mix bag yet. Says I'm waiting to see it.
I just finished it.
How much you want to do on these?
I've been walking and talking while I've been working.
Are these glass or are they actual?
Those are quartz.
Are they? They're so perfect.
Uh-huh.
How much you want to do on these?
Can't go lower than 14 on those.
14?
Uh-huh.
Is that silver too?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Pendulum.
Pendulums or pendant. $14 each. And I have multiples of these available. Thank you.
So, anyways, that's
you want to do? How much you want to do on these?
I could do like 10 on those.
There's
a bunch.
Yeah, different kinds. Let me dump these out so I can sort. Okay. So let me count how many of these quartz pendulums there are. It's missing its little butt. Oh. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of these.
But it was funny because, like, Charlie, when she was over here with her friend Mandy, she was talking about some of her high school stories.
8.5 millimeters by, without the bell, about 30.
And we all had stories. But I guess if you live, like, in a city, you have a different experience.
Yeah. This is definitely different than mine. Quartz pendants, pendulums, WY37, $14 each, 11 of them available.
Yeah, I felt like my high school was kind of like living in one of those like soap opera shows. And there was always a news van outside of our school. There was always. They basically just had their own individual parking spot.
Julie says, still hoping Andrew can build me that custom lot. The metal on those, Andrew said, is silver. Sterling, right?
Which one?
These ones?
No, the custom lot.
Oh.
Or the ones with the...
Susan's asking the metal on these.
It's supposed to be silver.
It's silver.
But that custom lot, I don't know. I don't think I have that. But maybe.
Yeah. We have not found it yet.
I haven't been able to dig a lot, but...
And I don't remember seeing another one of those big white cloisonne pieces.
We'll keep looking.
We'll keep looking over time. At the moment, no. Let's see here.
Put it in your mind.
Put it in your mind, Andrew says. These are little... Did you say 14 on these two? These little trees?
I can do 10 on those.
10 on those?
You know, like there's a lot of debate about like healthcare stuff right now and in the past couple of years. And one of the things is that if you've never had to experience that, then you may not know. But some people, they go to desperate measures to do stuff. And Like my French teacher, she came in the room one day and she looked white as a sheet. And her shoes, she kept saying, "There's blood on my shoes. There's blood on my shoes, Mrs. McDermott." And we were like, "What?" And somebody had tried to give themselves an abortion basically in the bathroom. And she went into the bathroom and she had bled, out a lot. And so she got blood on her shoes and had to call the hospital. She lived, the girl, but she was real sick. She was out of school for a long time.
These tourmaline little trees on, I believe, on copper. These are 41.5 by 26 millimeters approximately. There are 6 of them available, $10 each. Hand done.
There was a book that was written about my school, but it was by one of the teachers who wrote it. I think it was like an Amazon book. He did not stay there. He got excommunicated. And he had stuff that I didn't even know was happening. But it was at the time that I was in school. And he wrote a story about Alva. And I was like, dude, what? Because I remember that happening. And she was like, yep. He just changed my name.
Oh boy. How much you want to do on these? These are kind of cool.
Did you see that Alva had a baby?
No. Oh, maybe I did.
I don't know, $2 each.
$12 for that lot. WY39. $12 for this lot. And then our last one will be the mixes.
You don't want to keep going?
No, I'm getting hungry. 21 by 18.5. Large glass beads with very large holes. They are 4 millimeter holes.
I do want to watch the Wheel of Time.
You mean Mavis?
Mavis only has 2 episodes left.
I know, we should just finish it.
I know, but we'll finish that and it'll still be early.
Yeah, that's true. They're short.
I like that.
String those babies on leather, says Kimberly, right?
Yeah.
And then the last one, how much you want to charge for your lots? 12?
Yeah.
WY.
Some good stuff.
WY40. $12. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13. Lucky number 13. 13 of these available. WY40 are the luxury bead blends that Andrew created that we showed you earlier. He added a little bit of orange, just that little bit. So if you don't like it, you can take it out. If you do like it, it's there for you.
I double stuffed those.
Yeah, that you did. These are stuffed good.
Do you want a sneak peek of something I'm working on?
Yeah. So WY40, $12 a bag. Huh?
I just found some poison ivy.
Oh, did you? Don't tease. I'm going to tease. WY40, $12 a bag. That's our luxury bead blend we showed earlier in the show. Andrew bagged it all up for y'all. We have 13 of these available. WY40. If you wanted to grab 1 or 2 or 3, 13 of them are there. And let me check here. Okay, so far, none yet. Julie says, show us. Oh, here they start coming. We're a little bit delayed tonight, I can tell. WY40. We've sold one of these so far. Julie's ready to see what you've been working on. We sold another one of WY40s. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, this is so cute.
I did a series called Portraits from the Other Side. And I thought about making some more.
What do y'all think? Isn't that cute? Andrew's latest art piece. What do you think of that? We sold another WY40. Thank you so much. Suzanne says cute.
Little deer girl
Deer
with a
girl.
little stuffed animal.
Stuffed little fox animal friend. Norma says very cute.
Because that's kind
Dale
of like.
says I love it. Julie says I love her.
You know, though I need to get better. Like I think I'm a little bit cockeyed.
The cuteness, says Lennis.
Because all of my things, they're not directly in the center. Did you ever notice that?
That's hard though to do. It'd be hard to get them directly in the center unless you were like drawing lines.
I mean, it's not that hard, but all of my figures are always just slightly to the left.
Love her, says Anna. So cute, says Susan.
I need to paint more hands because I was kind of struggling with her hands a little bit.
They look good.
All right.
I love this metallic
That's
paint.
one of the things I wanted to do is play with is do the backgrounds in like a metallic and like iridescence and stuff, and then have the figure kind of be matte.
Yeah, I like that. Kimberly says, I really like it. Why does it have to be centered?
It doesn't, but you know, it's one of those
I think
things.
it looks better when it's not.
I think this one got saved because it's got that kind of line in it on the right. And so compositionally, it looks right. But
Kimberly says, I really like the iridescent. Anna says, centering things is unnatural, much more free and natural that way.
I don't know if I would consider myself free and natural.
No.
No, but there you go.
Okay, so there's that. This is the last lot of the evening, WY40. If you've grabbed it, grab one. If not, 3 of them have sold, so there's 10 of these left. These are the luxury bead blends
For tonight.
for tonight. All right, y'all.
Y'all like those Tree of Lives with the chip?
The little chips.
I think those turned out so good.
Those little chips. We didn't sell any of them. So
Not even one?
Not even one. WY38.
Well, I can tell you, we took a class from somebody on how to make those, and it was not $10.
No, it was not. No, it was not. We have other ones, but I didn't even show them because we didn't sell those, and we had other things.
Well, Jen, she started making those, so that's why I never sold these.
Yeah, we didn't want to sell them while Jen, but we also have them, if anybody's interested, we have them in the pre-night and the amethyst. If you're interested in those, you can let us know. Send us an email. They'll be the same $10 price for y'all if you like those.
But I want to start painting miniatures, and so I need to practice painting small. And so that's kind of where I was at. I have this goal that I'm going to buy these. There's these enamel paints called Ceradel, and they're basically, there is an area in France which they're known for their miniature work. It's called Limoges, and the technique is called Limoges because that's what they did there. That's what they're known for. And so they use those Ceradel enamel paints to paint the miniatures. And so I want to be fancy and make little portraits.
Fancy with little portraits.
Don't you think that'd be cute?
That would be cute.
Like the little mythological things and like little deer
In
friends and
miniature.
because you see all the miniatures and it's just like people dressed up nice. But it would be cool if it was like a school of like peculiar children
Mm-hmm.
or like I don't know.
Yeah, would be. Um, where's Charlie? Charlie says, "Oh, Charlie says, love the cat.
Thanks.
A little cat in there."
Mm-hmm.
All right,
So
y'all.
eventually I'll finish those.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. Don't forget, tomorrow is book club. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. There it is right here. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The Zoom link went out in our emails today. If you got the email, check your email inbox if you didn't get it. And it's also listed in the Allegory Gallery Inspired by Reading Book Club group on Facebook. And it's also in the Allegory Gallery Design Challenges group on Facebook. I put the link everywhere for tomorrow, 6 to 8 p.m. So we look forward to hanging out with you. And if book club goes well this time, maybe we'll do another one later. So in like 2 months. So this is a tester to see if people really want to get together and do this or not. So join us, please, if you would like to see book club continue.
If not, I can read on my own.
Right. Lennis is asking, how much is that painting?
I think they'll be like around 75 or so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because that's a lot.
They're as much work as my old crow paintings.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, about $75. That makes 75, 78, somewhere in
and
there.
they're on Bristol board. If they were on wood panel, they'd be more.
Yeah,
because they cost more. The panels just cost more.
it's on Bristol board. Kimberly's excited for book club. Suzanne says, good night, everyone. Good night, Suzanne. Charlie says, oh, and the deer girl attached to the cat, LOL.
That's fine. I sometimes like the little things
Right.
more.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We're going to go turn the oven on and make some pizza and watch some TV to chill out for the night. If you're in Johnstown tomorrow, please come visit me at Allegory Gallery, 608 Grove Avenue, and hang out. We'll make some jewelry together if you want to, or just look at pretty things. All right. And of course, again, tomorrow night is book club, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We hope you'll join us, and we hope you have a great evening. And if we don't hear from you this weekend, a great weekend until Monday. Have a great one, everyone.
See ya.
Bye now.